Hey there everyone, happy Wednesday, King 5, Meteorologist Adam Claibon with you. Yeah, we saw some sun today, but definitely a lot more cloud coverage around in comparison to the past couple of days, and we had a few areas that did pick up at least on some snowfall. Most spots stayed without the snow, and we just dealt with a lot more of this chilly weather, and still more of that around, and there's going to be one more chance of maybe some of that lowland snow across the area before things do start to warm up. We'll see our temperatures back up into the upper 40s and low 50s here in the lowlands, but we are going to keep the opportunity for mountain snow to be around through the weekend and possibly into next work week, which could be a pretty decent week as far as mountain snow is concerned. Models have kind of been hinting at that for a while, so we'll take that with a grain of salt. But first, let's take a look at the pattern right now. We're showing you the water vapor in the atmosphere. And really what I wanted to show you with this was what's happening with our winds. You can see that right now we're noticing more of a wind from the northwest to the southeast. And what that is helping to do is that's helping to generate more of this cooler pattern for many of us. So while you can see there is a pattern more so coming in from this direction right here, it is still helping to supply us with some of that colder air. And that's a direction we like to see our systems come from because it often means that we do get to see that chance for mountain snow because it keeps snow levels down. Usually we get moisture that comes through, but with the last few systems, a lot of that moisture has been heading southward, more so into Oregon and definitely into California. So that's why we've been kind of missing out on a lot of the mountain snow with this here. Another thing too, we kind of like our systems to be pretty close to the coast and right here across western Washington if we want to see that lowland snow, and they were just kind of too far off, bringing more of that wind off of the water as opposed to seeing it more so off of the land mass, or at least close enough to really grab up some of that moisture from off of the Pacific to help us to produce some of that lowland snow. But again, we'll have that chance, only a few chances. I think the coverage is going to be much less here as we head on into tonight and early into Thursday, and then things will start to dry out a little bit, and I think we'll still see a very outside chance, kind of like today, of a few of those showers around, maybe some small hail or maybe some sleet kind of mixed in there, all of that precipitation coming on through. Friday, starting to dry out completely. We'll see partly sunny skies, and check out the warm-up into the weekend. Highs back in the upper 40s to low 50s, and that's where we're going to stay for a while as we head on into next work week. What hasn't really been happening has been much snow for our mountain passes, even with the colder air that's been around here recently. Snoqualmie Pass, you can see the highway, it is completely bare as of right now. Same for Stevens Pass too. Even though we've picked up maybe 1, 2, 3 inches here over the past few days, it hasn't really added up to a whole lot, especially when you compare to what we've been seeing up this way around Paradise, which a little bit higher elevated, also farther south across the state, picks up a bit more on that moisture, as much more the moisture has been farther south across the state. But wanted to show you this side right here. This is our Granite Falls High School net sign, and this is one of the few locations that did pick up some snowfall here earlier this morning. You can see enough that it covered all of the grassy surfaces there, even some of the homes that you see off into the background and some of the different buildings that we have. And it looks like somebody trying to get out there and enjoy it here into our late Wednesday afternoon. So again, nice and pretty neat to see there. Wasn't everybody, definitely wasn't a lot of us who saw that, because here in Everett, maybe a few snowflake here or there, but generally just a lot more of this. Cloudy skies and a raindrop or two here and there, as well as what we noticed here in Queen Anne, looking from our camera there over Seattle. 41 degrees right now with that south wind coming in at about 6 miles per hour into our evening. We'll see temperatures as we head on into the night, back down into those mid to lower 30s, and keeping a lot of the clouds in place too, with that outside chance of a sprinkle or maybe a snowflake trying to mix in, generally though outside of the city. Current temperatures, low 40s, a few upper 30s farther to the north, and check out that cold air that's up there closer to the Canadian border. Northwest interior, you're going to be in store for some really cold wind chills tonight. Not only just there, but down this way across the north coast of the Olympic Peninsula, Clallam County. Get ready for that early into Thursday morning. Here's radar, and you can see there is some limited moisture still out there for some of us. That's continuing to track through across some of our parts. Also noticing as we zoom into a particular spot right here across South Sound that you have some of that moisture coming on through, and within some of that, again, raindrops mainly, but could see a quick little, maybe small area of hail or possibly a snowflake or two mixing on in. You can probably expect that to be generally in the form of rain, but the moisture is just really too limited. And off to the north, too, you have some of this moisture working its way through parts of the north coast of the Olympic Peninsula, as well as up this way across parts of northern Skagit County and heading to Whatcom County. So things still pretty active there, but it's up this way that we do have the cold weather advisory that's going to be with us. And let's go ahead and zoom that back out because that's going to start up a little earlier tonight. Last night it was at 1 a.m. Tonight it's going to be at 8 p.m. and that will last until 12 p.m. heading into tomorrow afternoon. Wind chills as low as 10 to 15 degrees. Brr, it's going to be very chilly. We'll get back to that in a second. First, I wanted to show you how the radar is going to be shaping up for us. This is Futurecast, and it's showing that moisture continues to kind of sneak through the area. Here we are at 9 to 10 o'clock tonight, and we're starting to see that system gather a little more strength down here across more of the southwestern part of the state. Let's go ahead and move that back for you. You can see that continuing to work its way through parts of more of the southwestern part of the state, and it continues to find its way across areas here farther south as well. That eventually sneaks all the way down across areas of Oregon. So not going to be as much and that much really left behind for many of us farther to the north. So as that sneaks southward, we're seeing things continuing to quiet down for us. And yes, there could be a little snow down across parts of Thurston County, maybe Lewis County, parts of Pacific County, or interior parts of Grays Harbor County, and even maybe a very small portion of southern Mason County, but it shouldn't be a whole lot. This is 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, and a lot of the moisture for those of us closer to Puget Sound, limited, but we could still see a little something into tomorrow afternoon. We'll see how that comes together, but definitely a lot less by the time we head on into that point. As far as the temperatures and how they're going to feel like, these are your real field temperatures or your wind chills that we're expecting into the night. You can see that those numbers really start to plummet by about 9 p.m. This is a little bit after an hour after that cold weather advisory starts. And you can already see Bellingham down to a wind chill of 23 degrees. We continue into the night and early tomorrow. There you go. We're down into the teens and well into the teens at 14 degrees. Orcas Island in the low 20s there. Around Port Angeles, Port Townsend, going around more Camano and Whidbey Island. Low to mid 20s for a few of us there. Farther south, upper 20s to low 30s, so not quite as cold for those of us around parts of Central and South Sound. And then we head into the afternoon, and there's still those wind chills in the upper 30s to low 40s, but definitely a lot better than what we just dealt with or what we're going to be dealing with early into Thursday morning. And then for Friday morning, a bit of a moderation in that air mass, but still very cold farther north with those wind chills in the low to mid 20s, while seeing areas farther south, mid to upper 20s and some lower 30s. And then really starting to see the air mass modify heading on into the weekend as we start to see a bit of a change. Remember, I was saying that most of our systems were coming in from the northwest and providing more of this northwesterly flow. Well, that's not going to be the case here with this system heading into the weekend. It's actually going to start to produce a bit more of a southwesterly flow as it spins up out there across parts of the Pacific, and we start to get more of a wind direction back from this direction right here from the west and the southwest, which will bring in a milder air mass. That's going to help to produce a better chance of rain, so we'll definitely get more rain out of this and a little snow for the mountains too. And we'll keep that rain going on into, it looks like, more of Monday and eventually into Tuesday, but it's not going to be until this system starts to work its way off to the east. Once that starts to happen, then we start to bring back a bit more of this northwesterly flow, which is going to be great. And we'll see how that works for us, but we're expecting that with that's going to help to produce a bit more of that mountain snow. It's going to be mid to late week that we'll have some slightly higher chances as systems start to come in from more of this direction right here to produce a bit more of that heavier snow for the Cascades and the Olympics too as we head on into more, I would say, late Wednesday, Thursday into Friday. So you can see this through about Monday. Coming in anywhere between about, I would say, a half a foot to a foot of snow. Take in mind or take in consideration that some of this is going to melt, so you're not going to get every last inch out of this that the model is showing. But as we continue on here, as we go deeper on into the week, going into Tuesday, not much more. Wednesday, we start to pick up quite a bit more, and then you can see this big burst Wednesday night into Thursday and Friday, which puts our total from about this point until the following Saturday anywhere between about 2 to possibly 4 feet of snow. Again, we've seen this from the models before. We've seen indications from this happening. We'll believe it when we see it, but at least we're getting the signals that this could happen, and we're in a favorable pattern of possibly producing some mountain snow. So again, we'll see how all this shapes up as we head on into more of next week. For tonight, though, chilly for many of us. A lot of 20s out there and some lower 30s too. Bellingham all the way down to 22 degrees. And then your high tomorrow, topping off at 39 in Blaine, Bellingham. We'll see a high of 38 degrees. Anacortes getting up to 38 as well. More highs in the low 40s down this way around Arlington, Marysville, Monroe up to 42. Granite Falls after seeing that snow earlier Wednesday morning. 41 degrees into the afternoon for Thursday. Coopville reaching a high of 39. We'll be in the low 40s around Paulsville, Bainbridge Island, and in Bremerton. Renton, the same number there at 41. 40 in Enumclaw, a high of 40 degrees in Eatonville. Yelm up to 43. Getting up to about 43 in Belfair. Tenino, 43 degrees. Mid-40s around Centralia down to Longview. Low 40s for Ocean Park. And then farther north, Claylock, 45. Off towards the east, Lake Cushman. We saw some snow on the previous morning, back on Tuesday morning. We'll top off at 39. Heading on into Thursday afternoon, Swim at 37, and we'll top off at 36 at Lake Crescent. Your forecast here over the next 7-day stretch. Definitely seeing a modifying trend as our temperatures will start to make their way back into the upper 40s and low 50s. We'll be closer to those averages yet again, and we'll keep things pretty active, and hopefully that will mean a decent amount of mountain snow for us as we'll keep those snow levels anywhere between about 2,500 feet to maybe at their peak, 3,500 feet. Okay, everyone, well, take care. Have a great Wednesday night. And again, trying to stay warm into your Thursday morning. I'll talk to you soon.